I need to go on my run. Bye, Mom, I'm going out.
Do you know what could happen to you?
No,
The air quality was over 300.
I didn't know that.
Shortness of breath, coughing and wheezing, and chest tightness.
Thank you for teaching me about the air quality. Can I please leave now?
Only promise to watch out for your lung health by checking the air quality before you work out.
Yes, sir. We hope you found that skit enjoyable. Now here's some insight from Mr. Gantong. Can you tell me a little bit about yourself?
My name is Celso Ganton. I've been a respiratory therapist for 14 years, going on, 14 years now. I've worked at a few hospitals here in Bakersfield. I've also been a cardiac sonographer and a pulmonary function technologist. The last couple of years, I've been the director of respiratory and cardiac services at both Mercy Southwest and Mercy Downtown.
How does Bakersfield's air quality impact respiratory health, especially for people with asthma or allergies?
So, pollutants and air quality affects people with asthma or really anybody by a couple things. Particulate matter is one of the biggest things in Kern County. So you have there's a couple things that that affect asthma and other health conditions. Particulate matter is one. You get that a lot from agriculture, dusting being kicked up. Also bio aerosols like pollen, spores is really big here in Kern County. There's a fungi spore called coccidioidomycosis, which causes valley fever. So that's another one. And then ozone, nitrogen, dioxide. There's a few others, but all those affect health in Bakersfield as far as
What long-term health risks are associated with consistent exposure to Bakersfield's air pollution?
So consistent exposure to these air pollutants causes lung and inflammatory responses in the lungs. Also in the heart. This is caused by a couple of mechanisms that happen when you start breathing in those pollutants. Another thing is infections, right? You get increased infections with these pollutants. Bronchitis, exacerbations in asthma, COPD, people with any heart conditions, it's going to exacerbate that too. You have decreased oxygen levels with that. And then also, like I said, you have a response in the body that increases the inflammatory response throughout the system.
Are there specific pollutants in Bakersfield's air that are particularly harmful to heart health?
Yeah, so all of those pollutants like ozone, nitrogen dioxide, they cause a inflammatory response in the body. What that causes is hardening of some arteries, especially in your heart or coronary arteries. Also, the oxygen levels. When you have a lot of particulate matter, especially when you're breathing it in, your oxygen levels are going to be a little bit lower. It's going to make it much more difficult to breathe. So, on top of that, you have some people that have both cardiac and lung diseases. So it's going to make it much worse for them.
How can vulnerable groups, especially children, elderly, and those with chronic conditions, protect themselves from poor air quality days?
So there's a couple things they can do. Check the air quality. Make sure they're checking that daily. Another thing is stay indoors. If you can stay indoors, that's usually the best thing. When you are staying indoors, use a HEPA filter. That's really important. Also, make sure there's nothing that's really getting in. So making sure there's not that air that's coming in. Also, really good ventilation and circulation of the air is another thing. If you are outdoors, try to limit it, but wearing a mask is also a big thing. N95 or N99 is the best mask to use outside, but any mask is better than that.
What are the signs that air pollution is worsening someone's health, and when should they seek medical attention?
So there's a couple signs, especially with someone with lung diseases. You're going to have shortness of breath, wheezing, coughing, headaches. Sometimes get dizzy. When someone needs to go out to the hospital or get medical advice, is when that shortness of breath is really bad. You have increased respiratory rate, increased heart rate, low oxygen levels in your blood. When you lose consciousness or very dizzy, those are usually the reasons that you seek medical attention.
How does Bakersfield's air quality affect people with existing conditions like COPD or cardiovascular disease?
So it's going to exacerbate those. So with COPD, it's going to increase that inflammatory response. With COPD, within that is chronic bronchitis. It's going to increase the mucus production in the lungs. The other thing is emphysema. What it's going to do is it's going to make it much harder to breathe air out. So it's going to make it much more difficult to breathe. With cardiovascular diseases, typically it's going to be a little bit longer. You're not going to see it acute, but it can increase myocardial infarction, so heart attack, you'll see that, and then also people with CHF or chronic, CHF, which is chronic heart failure. What that does is it backs up the fluid into the lungs, and you'll see a much more, they'll be much more shorter breath. It can cause more disease in the lungs, pneumonia, increased infections like bronchitis.
Are there preventative measures or treatments you recommend for patients exposed to high pollution levels?
Again, just staying indoors, I think that's the biggest thing. Monitoring the air quality, using a mask. The best way to combat that is just preventative. Preventative is the best thing. So once you do start getting any kind of sickness from pollutants, it's usually just to be something like with asthma, it's going to be albuterol. Those kind of things that really open up the lungs. But like I said, the best thing is just preventative, just being preventative.
How does seasonal change in Bakersfield affect air quality and related health issues?
So a couple things. Winter, the biggest thing is wood burning. So sometimes you'll see that there'll be a wood burning restriction. That's going to be definitely something during the winter. During spring, the biggest thing is going to be pollutants and dust. You'll see that a lot of dust being kicked out, especially by agriculture. Summer and fall, the biggest thing is going to be the wildfires. So Bakersfield sits right in the Central Valley. It's almost like a bowl, right? right? You have mountain ranges to the west, the Tumbler and the Diablo to the west, and then you have the Sierra Nevada to the east with the Tehachapi to the south. So whenever we have a wildfire or smog or anything like that, it just sits here in Bakersfield. So because that, especially in summer and fall. And then another one from spring until fall is that fungus coccidioidomycosis, which causes valley fever. It's another one that's really big between spring and fall.
Is there a link between air quality and mental health or cognitive function in this area?
Yeah, so one thing that happens with pollutants is it increases an inflammatory response. That can definitely affect the brain. Bad air quality is linked to the decline in cognitive function, and it's also linked to Alzheimer's. So there is a systemic response to this.
Do you recommend using air purifiers or masks on high pollution days in Bakersfield?
Yes, I definitely recommend using air purifiers like a HEPA filter and mask whenever you can. Like I said, using an N95 is probably one of the best things that you can use. It's going to block out about 95% of airborne particles. But yes, definitely use air filter or a mask.
Thank you for your time. That's all the questions that we have today.
Thank you.
Hi everyone. So after this video, I'm sure you're wondering why you're seeing this in the first place. As funny as it may have been, Bakersfield's air quality is a really serious issue that causes problems that we all have to deal with. Because of this, we wanted a way to allow people to monitor the air quality in their direct vicinity. That's where this purple air monitor comes into play. Purple air monitors update every 2 seconds, giving immediate results on their website. These results are far more accurate than what your phone can display and are specific to your area. That means a purple air monitor will give results that impact you directly. Checking this is a simple process as well. Each monitor has a QR code on the front of it, and we've put posters around your school with the same QR code. Scanning this code takes you directly to a map with sensors from all over the world, so you can check the air quality wherever you'd like. For the results specific to you, just type your school's name in the search bar, and it will take you to that location directly. Even if these steps seem complicated, the posters have the same information. Thank you so much for listening, and be sure to check this often. Your lungs will thank you for it. On behalf of 4 Dream Builders and Team Dignity Health Airwear, stay informed about your air and keep your lungs healthy.